Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are taking great care of yourself. Today I wanted to talk about feeling like you don't fit in and feeling like you're far behind everybody else. So, if I'm being honest, I've been feeling like I'm far behind everybody else, and I know it's not good to compare. You should never compare yourself to everybody else because everybody else's path and everybody else's purpose is different from yours. So it's not good to compare. But sometimes as humans, we tend to compare. And currently, I live with my uncle. I have a part-time job right now. I'm currently looking for a full-time job. And I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to be independent. I'm trying to be uh I'm trying to be independent, save my money, and invest in properties in my future. I'm trying to do great things for myself. I'm trying to work 60, maybe 70 hours a week. I'm just trying to work hard so I can have a great future for myself. Um, and I know those things don't happen overnight, and I know those things take time. Um, but as I've been going through a struggling phase in my life right now, I tend to open Instagram, TikTok. I tend to see friends and family members getting married, having children, um, buying a house, starting up a business. And when you tend to see everybody around you um, starting their journey and receiving wonderful things, you start to question and ask yourself, like, why does it feel like I haven't gotten anything? Why does it feel like I'm far behind? Sometimes you question yourself and you say, why haven't I got married yet? Why haven't I had a baby yet? Why haven't I started my business yet? Or why am I not financially stable? Or why don't I um have a business yet? We tend to tell ourselves that. But I'm here to tell you guys, if you guys are feeling like you're in last place, if you guys feel like everybody is prospering and you're not, that's not true. It's prospering isn't defined by how many businesses you own. Prospering isn't defined by having a wife or having children or owning a house. And those things are beautiful. Those things we should want for ourselves. But you got to remember, prospering is what Jesus Christ wants us to do. The Lord says that success is our character. It's not the materialistic possessions that we gain throughout our life. It's what we it's what the Lord changes within our heart that makes us successful. You know, a lot of people think success is based on how many cars you drive or how many houses you own or how much money's in your bank account, but that's not true. Success is within you. But success is whatever Jesus Christ wants you to do with your life because God designed your life in a certain direction that's different from everybody else. Everybody else's life is not like your life. Your purpose is your purpose, and the next person's purpose is their purpose. So whenever you see people getting married, having kids, and doing and it seems like they're getting blessings and you're not, it's not that you're not getting blessings, it's just not your time yet. If I'm being honest, I got family members that are having children, getting married. I see people I see friends going on vacations and going to Japan and Mexico and all these great, amazing places across the world, and I've never left the country yet. I've only been to maybe like 5 states in the United States. But you got to sit back and say, listen, it's not my time yet. It's their time. It's not my time. And you got to be grateful for what you do have. Because a lot of people, even though a lot of people don't have what you have, a lot of people would would kill to come to the United States. A lot of people would kill to have running water in their bathroom. A lot of people would kill to be in your position. There's people in other countries that would die to be in your position. So you have to be grateful, even though, you see everybody else prospering, you got to sit back and ask yourself, you know, it's not your time. The Lord does things for at the right time. God's timing is not your timing. You know, just because other people are receiving things doesn't mean that you're not going to get a blessing. Maybe their blessing is different from your blessing, but you're going to get a blessing. You have to stay consistent with the Lord. You have to read your Bible, pray, and ask and talk to God. Sometimes I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I ask God and I say, Lord, I want to get married. I want to meet a godly wife. God says in the Bible that meeting that a godly wife is a gift from the Lord. I want to meet a woman that loves Jesus, but I haven't met that woman yet. And I pray and I ask God to bring that woman to me, but He hasn't yet. I've been asking the Lord for a couple months now, and I still haven't received that blessing. But that's not meaning that I won't. I have faith that the Lord will bring me a godly wife, but maybe I'm just not ready yet. Or maybe the woman that He has for me isn't ready yet. Or maybe it's just not meant for me. You guys have to accept that too. Some things are just not meant for you. No matter how bad you want something in life, sometimes God says no to it. And the reason why God says no to it, because He knows that if He gives it to you, it's just going to destroy you. And you gotta accept the yeses by the Lord, the no's by the Lord, and you gotta also accept the be patient by the Lord, because being patient is fruit of the Spirit. You gotta be patient. It's hard. I understand. I'm impatient myself. I wanna I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to hurry up and move out of my uncle's house. I want to hurry up and get a significant amount of money in my bank account and buy my own house and get married. I want to rush and do things in life, but I can't do that. I gotta stay in. I gotta stand still. And and also, I want to talk about not fitting in. Sometimes in life, like, all right, I'm not even going to say sometimes. Majority of the time, when you give your life to the Lord, you start to lose friends. You start to feel like life's not, you start to feel like why, you start to question yourself as well. What's wrong with me? Why does everybody push me away? Why doesn't my friends text me or call me anymore? Why doesn't people want to be around me? Why, when I show so much love, I receive so much negativity, or people don't want to accept my love? It's like when you start receiving the love of God in your heart and you start loving people and caring for people and wanting the best for people, people get turned off and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is too much love. This is overbearing. I didn't ask for all this. And it's crazy because love is a beautiful thing. Love is a gift from God. And the Bible says if somebody does not know love, they don't know God, because God is love. And I'm just saying that we live in a messed up world where it's like you give too much love, people get pushed away. But if you're a negative person, you treat somebody bad, it's like they find that more attractive in a sense, and it's weird. If I'm being honest, guys, never stop showing love. No matter if people push you away or want nothing to do with you, keep showing love, because God says that we should keep loving. Love our enemies. Love people that persecute us, spit on us, hurt our feelings. Even though people say things that are disrespectful to us, God still wants us to show love to them. You don't need to give them access to your life, but you do owe them love. And it's like, you know, not fitting in, you got to remember, once you start prospering, once you start pleasing the Lord, once you start giving your life to the Lord's going to remove anybody in your life that is not meant for you. He's going to remove all the people in your life that are not meant for you, and He's going to keep you alone for a while, because when God keeps you alone, that's when he cancels out all of your friends in your life, when He removes all your friends, when He removes all the distraction from your life, when He removes everything from your life that is distracting you. That's where, and when God has you alone, that's where He can work on you best. That's when He can transform your heart, transform your mind, and create you into the beautiful woman or man He designed you to be from birth. When you start giving your life to the Lord, all your friends are going to vanish, and you're going to be alone. And when you're alone, that's when God's going to work on you the most, and He's going to create you to the man or the woman He wants you to be, for you to walk in your purpose. And you got to also remember, when you read the Bible, a lot of the prophets were alone. Look at Job. His friends cursed him. His friends was telling him like, yo, why don't you curse the Lord already? The Lord has look at all the bad stuff that's happening in your life. Why don't you just wave your fist at God and just say, "I'm done. I'm through with you, Lord." But Job never gave up. Even when his friends was going behind his back, even when his friends was vanishing, even when he lost everything in life, he still never gave up on the Lord. So never give up on the Lord, even if things in your life aren't going well, you know? And it's like, look at look at it, guys. I know how hard it is to give your life to Jesus and you ain't got no friends. You don't got no money. You're struggling financially. You're struggling on food stamps. You're feeling like you're not where you want to be in life. I know that feeling. But just remember, if you got God by your side, if you have Jesus Christ in your life, you're rich. No matter if you're technically poor on earth, if you still got God, you're rich. You can be a billionaire, but if you don't got God, you got nothing. I'm just trying to tell you guys, man. You could you can be poor today and have Jesus and die and go to heaven. You could be rich today and don't have Jesus, die right now, and you're going straight to hell. So I want you guys to know something. Jesus is the answer. And even if things don't make sense, some things in our life aren't meant to make sense. The Lord says, lean not on your own understanding. You don't know what the Lord's doing now, but you will later. God does things in mysterious ways. We don't know why God God didn't allow you to have that baby. We don't know God why your family member died of cancer. We don't know why um children children die in car accidents. We don't know why. We don't know why your house got burned down. We don't know the reason why. Only God knows the reason why. But God is the answer. He's going to heal you from all those wounds. I don't know why when I pray and ask the Lord to for certain things. I ask the Lord for certain things like marriage, like a wife. I asked the Lord for a stable job to become independent, but He's telling me to be patient. I'm not ready yet. Instead of the Lord giving me materialistic things, He gave me character and wisdom. And He gave me a heart like His. I ask God all the time, let me chase after your own heart, a man like David. I just want the Lord to change my heart, to change my mind, to to prosper me in the way that He wants me to be prospered. I just want to walk like Jesus, talk like Jesus, love like Jesus, be gentle like Jesus. I want to resist temptation like Jesus. I want to I don't want to be Jesus. I want to be like Jesus because I can't be exactly Jesus because I'm not perfect like He was, but I seek perfection through Him. And that's the blessings He's been giving me, is to have a heart like Him and to love like Him. All the materialistic things, God says no to that. And I don't know why He says no to that. But you got to remember that your character means more than anything. Having a character like Jesus is the best blessing that you could ever ask for, beyond money, beyond a wife, but beyond children, beyond anything. And that's one thing that I'm realizing now, and I want you guys to realize that. But trust me, I don't understand why God does the things He does. And I don't understand why certain people get things that I want that I don't get. I don't understand that. I don't know. But you just got to stand still and be patient for what you do have. And you got to look around you and be happy, you know? That what you got to be happy for the things you do have. And I also want to let you guys know something. I I when I was praying for a godly wife or a woman to come into my life, right? Instead of God blessing me with a wife, He blessed me with a dog. You see my dog on the bed laying down? He blessed me with a dog. He said, "No, I'm not going to give you a wife. I'm going to give you a dog." That's and that dog right there was a blessing from the Lord. That dog loves me tremendously. Dog sleeps with me. Whenever I leave the room, she cries for me. That dog follows me everywhere. That dog loves me the most. And that's unconditional love from the Lord. That dog gives me unconditional love. That dog gives me love like the Lord does. And that's what God said. He said, that's the type of love you need. And that was powerful to me. Because I remember I was crying on the floor asking the Lord, I was asking the Lord, I'm lonely. I don't have nobody by my side. I feel depressed. I feel like I don't have nobody to talk to, nobody to stick by me. And the Lord gave me a dog. And the Lord also told me, I'm I, I'm here. Just by the Lord showed me that He was here. Once He blessed me with a dog, I knew that the Lord was always by me, 24/7. And I just want to let you guys know something. Like the Lord does things in mysterious ways. The Lord will give you certain things, but sometimes He won't give you what you ask, He'll give you what you need. Because the Lord knows if He gives you what you want, you might just end up destroying yourself. And the Lord, and you got to look at Jesus Christ. You got to look at your relationship as Jesus Christ as a father and son, or son or father and daughter relationship. Jesus is not going to let you drop. Jesus is, if you went up to, if you was a father or a mother, and your 8-year-old son or daughter came up to you and said, "Hey dad," or "Hey mom, let me drive the car at 8 years old." You're going to say, "No, you're not ready." Because if I give you the keys to this car and you get in that car and you start driving, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. And then you tell your son or daughter, wait until you're about 16, 17 years old, and then you might be ready. And then that year comes, and then you see that your child is a little bit more mature. You see that your child is a little bit more, their mindset's a little bit, you know what I mean, more stable, and they're more serious about learning how to drive. Then you'll be like, okay, I feel that you're ready. Now let's get in the car and let's practice. I want to test you a little bit to see if you're really serious about this. And then if you're serious about this, then you'll be able to get your license, and then you'll receive that blessing. But I have to see how serious you really are before I can give you something, because I don't know if you can handle it or not. And that's how the Lord works. And sometimes we think that we're ready for it, but in reality, God sees way beyond what we see right now. God can see the future. He knows if it's not meant for you, or if it is meant for you. So He's gonna block it before it even gets to that point. And that's like, and we if I'm not a parent yet, but if I was a parent, and if I knew something wasn't good for my daughter or my son, I'm gonna block it before they can even cross that road. I'm gonna block the road before they can even cross it, because I want what's best for my kid. Whether they don't like it or not, I know what's best for them. So that's how Jesus works for us. And we just got to take in consideration that believing in the Lord and giving your life to the Lord and picking up your cross daily is not a comfortable feeling. It's not comfortable. It comes with pain. It comes with feeling like, why is it'll come with questioning life. It'll come with questioning your identity. It will come with what's wrong with me sometimes. But you have to give all that stuff to the Lord. You have to lie down all your worry, all your cravings, all your desires, all the things that you're struggling inside with brokenness and bitterness, and you have to lay it all at the Lord's feet, and let Jesus take the wheel and you sit in the passenger seat. You know? It's hard, man. Like, giving your life to Jesus is very hard. And I live a very lonely life. I do. I live very lonely. I don't have a lot of friends. Um, Nobody really calls me and asks me how I'm doing. Nobody really checks up on me. But you got to remember that when you're going through a lonely, quiet life, that's a blessing from the Lord. For the Lord to give you a life of loneliness and solitude, and just can't and nothing's bothering you. I know sometimes, it gets lonely and you want to have some type of interaction with people, but just know that having a lonely life is a blessing from God, because having a lonely life, it gives you time to it gives time to the Lord to build your character, and having a lonely, quiet life gives you peace. And God gives you peace. And peace is one of the best things to have, you know? But I love you guys. And I want what's best for you guys. And I want to relate to you guys because I know how it feels. I know how it feels to feel lonely. I know how it feels to not fit in. I know how it feels for everybody to push you away and make you feel like you're not good enough, but you are good enough. I know how it feels for everybody to prosper in front of your face, but you feel like you're far behind. I know how it feels to be on a basketball court and you have two captains and everybody picks everybody, but you're the last man sitting out, and now you have to sit back on the bench and wait for the game to be over before, and then the next game you got next, but everybody played before you. I know how it feels to be the water boy on the football team. I know how it feels to feel like, why is my life feel empty but everybody else life feels full? I know how that feels. I know how it feels to for a partner to love somebody else and break your heart. I know how it feels for people to mistreat you and make you feel like you're nothing. But remember, all that brokenness, all that pain, all that suffering, all the things you go through is just building you and molding you to become the man or the woman that God designed you to be. I know how it feels for your for to be in a broken home and your father cheated on your mother and got another woman pregnant, and your mom's crying through pain and suffering because the love of her life just broke her heart. I know how it feels to see a parent drink and get drunk. And I've seen my parents. I've seen my father drink and be depressed and get drunk every single day because he's trying to cover his pain. I've seen it, man. I've been through a lot. I've been through some things, man. Man, bro, I'm gonna be so vulnerable here. Man, I grew up with a learning disability, and I was in a special needs class because I didn't even know my times table, and I didn't even know how to write or read, and I didn't even get to read until I was the age of 8 years old. And I was learning how to write, and I was afraid to go into classes and read in front of the class because I didn't know how to read, and I felt like kids were gonna bully me, and I don't even know my times tables to this day. There's certain, sometimes people Sometimes people, I have a learning disability, so sometimes people have to tell me 20 times before I'm like, oh, okay, I understand. Like sometimes I didn't. I remember I was at work and the lady was teaching me how to do measurements, and I didn't even know how to do the measurement. It took her like 7 times to teach me how to do the measurement, and it clicked in my head after a while. And everybody and people were laughing at me in the background, but I had to just sit back and just be like, that's you got to accept your flaws. You got to be honest. Like I do have a learning disability, and it's hard sometimes for me to receive information. Some people learn faster than me. Sometimes it takes 10 times for people to tell. Sometimes somebody has to tell me something 10 times for me to understand. Sometimes somebody has to sit down and teach me for a long time before I'm like, oh, okay, I understand. I struggle too. And I don't know why I have that learning disability. I don't know why sometimes I can't process information fast. My brain doesn't work that fast, but I've been praying and asking the Lord for help. You know, Sometimes I gotta learn slower than others. I struggle too, but I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I was in a classroom with special needs kids growing up my whole life from grade K all the way to 12. Man, I've seen kids with Down syndrome in my class. I've seen kids that were deaf. I seen kids that was in wheelchair chairs. I seen kids that had deformation. That you know, I've been through it all, man. I know how it feels. I've been in classes where kids like was it where they had like severe bad learning disabilities to the point where they couldn't even be independent. Their whole life they can't be independent. I remember a girl. Hold on. Hold on. I remember I remember a girl in my class. She didn't know anything. There was a teachers were teaching her slowly and slowly and slowly, and she didn't understand anything. And everybody was laughing at her, and everybody was bullying her, and everybody was, and she was crying, and she had a learning disability that was way far more worse than mine. And I wish I can get in contact with her. Her name was like Janelle. Um, and I remember it was so sad. It was like, man, I understand what that girl was feeling. I understand how she feels. And it's like I was a freshman in high school when that girl Janelle was crying and people were bullying her and making fun of her disability. And I was like, man, like if I could talk to her to this day, I would. I was like, tell you guys, I was in a classroom with people that had learning disabilities, and there was people in there that they just they they could they'll never be independent. The disabilities are affect their lifestyle so much that they needed to be taught how to go to the bathroom. But I'm never ashamed of how I grew up. I'm never ashamed of what I went through. You know, I remember when I was in the learning disability classes, I would go to class and I would wait for the bell to ring and the hallways to be empty, and I'd go to class late just so I wouldn't see people. Just so I wouldn't allow people to see me go in those learning disability classes. That's how bad it was. That's how embarrassed I was. But now I'm not embarrassed anymore. It taught me to be the man that I am today, and it hurts, you know. And I learn, and I grow, and I become stronger. I had an IEP growing up, and it was bad. And I still struggle to this day with my learning disability, but I become stronger and stronger and stronger by the grace of the Lord. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to say how I feel because I know that somebody out there needs to hear what I'm going through. And I know there's a kid that might not even be born that might go through the same exact hardship that I went through. And and maybe I can save somebody's life out there. Maybe I can save that kid that's not even born yet, that when they get older, they could watch my video and know that they weren't alone. Maybe I can save somebody else's life out there that's currently going through what I went through or am going through right now, and I can save their life and I can help them. That's why I make these videos, because there's people that need to hear what I gotta say. And life is very short. And I want my videos to last forever because I wanna do God's work through these videos. And trust me, I understand what you guys are going through because I'm going through it too. And I just want to say that I love you, I care about you, and God bless you in Jesus' heavenly name.